What's good? It's your favorite Bronxite Nova Church, and we back again for another episode, for another podcast. And first and foremost, thank you for tuning in. Whoever you are, I appreciate your time. I appreciate your energy, and I hope we can continue this conversation. So today, I really want to talk about goals. I don't think we can agree anymore that the definition of goals, like when people say hashtag goals, is Eliud Kipchoge. He, this past weekend, PR'd full marathon in under 2 hours. Now, to understand what that means is to understand what it is to run 26 miles and do it in that time, which your body has to be conditioned to do. You're basically moving like a real machine. And they were saying that by the year 2075, we can figure it out. But right now, this is 2019. Shout out to him because that's such a great feat. I don't know if a lot of you are aware of the idea to break the 2 hour mark. And if you are unfamiliar with it, I would hope you would be open to going on YouTube or go to Nike.com and look up Breaking 2, which was a documentary put out back in 2017. I think it was May, because I know they really started putting some money together and ideas together, and they gathered 3 athletes to run a loop until they reached the marathon. And if you watch the documentary, it's very motivating and inspiring to see what people are willing to do with their conditioning, understanding that their body, if they understood it, what you could do with it till its full potential, what we could be capable of doing. In that documentary, you can see what the human spirit will push itself to do. He didn't hit the mark, of course, because it's just now happening, but he definitely showed the spirit that it takes to get there in that documentary. So you knew that this day would come. That's basically goals, right? Before we move on, let's talk about the name of the podcast. See, I glanced over that just because I wanted to open up with such an inspirational story and feeling. So now let's go into my goal, and it's creating this podcast. I asked you guys, what were your ideas on the name for the podcast? And I had 2 ideas I threw at you guys. And one of them was running my mouth, and the other one was chit chat with church. And you know what? Let's review. Let's review what people are saying about chit chat with church and running my mouth. So I had on my Instagram. If you don't follow me on Instagram, Nova.Church. You can find me. So Jay Rivera 360 said he had his own idea. He said running it down with Nova. Shout out to homies at Bronx Soul. Bronx Soul actually hit me back with the welcome to church, which I thought was a pretty cool idea. Inviting the people in to have a conversation. I like that idea. Live from Uptown, or Church in the Wild. I thought that was pretty cool. 007 run the church. My homie C's, he hit me with C's Black 9. Follow my homie C's Black 9. He said, I'm digging just church. Church. Now, let's get to what the winner was and what the winner is and what the winner's gonna be and what the name is and all that good stuff, right? I got my daughter in the cut over here. You can't see it. She's just off camera. Right, baby girl? Yeah. All right. I don't know if the mic picked that up, but she said, yeah. My baby girl. Now, the winner is, can I get a drum roll? Chit, chat, which. I need a studio. Hold on. Oh, there you go, baby girl. Thank you, baby girl. Woo. So that's what the name is gonna be. Let me see what people had to say about Chit Chat with Church. Let me see. We have straight off of YouTube. Calvin Harmon. He put. Oh no, that's something different there. What's that? Oh, I got Aloe Curls, ALO Curls. She wrote, I voted for Chit Chat with Church. She threw a smiley face emoji on there. Coach Kai, shout out to Coach Kai. He wrote Chit Chat with Church is the one. I'm Snobby hit me with she actually wrote just gotta do it. The particulars will sort themselves out. She was actually prophetic right there, because basically it did, because now it's Chit Chat with Church. Shout out to my homie Carlos Runman hit me back. Runman84. He said Chit Chat with Church is the move. Demi D man, homie Demi D. It's a hip hop artist right there, Shout out Demi. Yo, Chit Chat with Church is he said the same thing. The choice of New York City, the choice of NYC. Go follow her. She's actually probably gonna be on the podcast. She radio personality extraordinaire. She wrote congrats CCC. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man, we got a lot of comments. Shout out to everybody that wrote back. Shout out to No Hope Pope, C Rich Run. Shout out to everybody. Show me love. Make sure y'all keep the comments. Let me know what's right, what's wrong, because we're gonna grow this. But let's move on. I digress and progress. And let's go over the rest. What we talking about today? Now, y'all know, I hope y'all know, yesterday was the Chicago Marathon. Shout out to all the finishers. Shout out to all the New York City run groups, crews, and gangs that went out to Chicago and did their thing. PR, didn't PR, finished strong, didn't finish strong, whatever. You had to walk through the finish line because that cramp in the whatever. I don't know your story, but shout out to you for enjoying that journey, taking that trip to Chicago and putting that 26 down on those windy pavements. It's something I wanted to touch on that I seen, you start reading the different articles and seeing different motivational stories about people that participated in the Chicago Marathon. And one of them was a story about a guy named Ethan Taylor. Now, Ethan was from Rockford, Illinois. Ethan was overweight. He went to college, had a football career, but he had a very poor diet. The homie struggled from depression, try to cover that up with alcohol, as a lot of people do, suffer from anxiety. Now, ultimately, that forced him to drop out of school. And when he did that, he just ballooned up in weight to 368 pounds. And that was his peak. That was the heaviest he was. But in 2018, he really wanted to lose the weight, and he told his family, I want to go down to like 184. And through a radical change in his diet, he started running, which a lot of people do just to lose weight. But once you get that euphoria from running, people continue to run. And as he ran, he lost weight. And as he lost weight, he decided to keep pushing his distance basically on the weight he was losing, almost like he was balancing himself out. Now, he decided to run the Chicago Marathon. He actually finished in 4 hours and 44 minutes. And his goal was actually 5 hours. So he actually crushed his goal. He was running for a charity that helps kids with childhood obesity. And to me, that's the story. Like, to take this running and motivate others who might not think it's accessible or it's possible. But I think, let me put the homie's picture up before and after, let you see that. But this is his quote that he gave on his World magazine. He said, "A healthy, active life is possible for everyone. You just have to get up and go move, even if you don't want to." But listen to that again. Let's listen. Let's because that's his inspiration. So that's coming from a deeper place than just reading his quote. A healthy, active, healthy as in what we have around us and what we put in our body, the visuals we see to stimulate our minds, the foods to keep us healthy and moving with vibrance and energy, right? Now, active, he's saying an active life. That means do something on a daily basis that involves motion. You don't have to run, you know? People, I don't like running. That's cool. Find something that you like doing that involves you, like, getting your heart going, you know? So he said, a healthy, active life is possible for everyone. He's using his own experience. He's showing you himself. Like, look at me. I'm everyone. I did it. Then he goes on to say, you just have to get up and go move, even if you don't want to. So in those moments where you like, I don't want to do this. I'm bored. I'm tired. I've been standing on my feet all day at work. I've been slaving at this desk all day. I've been doing this. I've been doing, like, at the end of the day, it's you that have to take control. And if you don't do it and you use those excuses of, I don't want, you got to just do it. And that's what he's saying. He's basically saying, Nike, homie, just do it. Now, let's clap it up for the homie, because he did a good job. He lost a lot of weight. He ran and all that, right? Now, let's go on to something that's near and dear to my heart. You know why? Because I was a part of it. The Staten Island half. I don't know if you noticed, but we have 3 medals here. These 3 medals represent the times I did the Staten Island half. I'm not even sure if these are all of them. I don't know. I probably did it one more time. I'm not sure. But, you know, short-term memory stuff. What I'm showing right now for the people who can't see is, this is the 2016 medal for the Staten Island half marathon with New York Road Runners that I did as part of getting into the marathon, right? So now, this year, I did it, and I wanted to PR. This is the new one. And I did it. Goals. Hashtag goals. Did that. But here's the story. There was so much motivation this year, and I didn't appreciate it. Podcast number 1. Right? This year that I ran, it was raining like crazy. Anybody that's been running these races in New York City or who participated in this Staten Island half in 2016 understands that it was pouring rain and it was cold. It was the worst conditions that you could have. I'm so appreciative that the weather was so beautiful, because on this day when I finished, they messed up the bag check. So after running in the rain, PRing, running my heart out, stood in the rain, couldn't get my bag, shivering cold. Everyone started skipping the line to get their bag because everything was just so disorganized that year. Maybe because the rain, there was lack of volunteer. I don't know. But standing in the rain, shivering, shaking, finally get my stuff. Next thing you know, I'm nauseous. I'm not feeling too good. My head, the room is spinning and I'm outside. How is that possible? Then I had to tell my wife. My wife was there and my daughter, and she was little. And I told my wife, I gotta go to the bathroom. I'm not feeling too good. Then I had dry clothes in my bag, so I'm like, I'm gonna change. Went in the bathroom, threw up. I think there was already poop in the toilet. Threw up on the poop. It was disgusting. Why did I say that? Changed, got out the bathroom, felt a little better after I threw up. Told my wife, I am not feeling good. Got on the ferry. It was kind of warm. They closed all those doors. It was kind of toasty. And it was straight vibes. It was straight vibes on the ferry from all the runners completing the half marathon. They was out in the rain. It was cold. We was hurting. We was this, we was that. But guess what? We finished. And we was on that ferry, and the vibes made me feel so much better. Fast forward. 2019. That was 2016. 2019. Oh, did I mention when I PR'd in 2016, I was running with two of my peoples from Harlem Run, JD and Hondo. This year, 2019, I see my boy JD right before I started. All of a sudden, I just knew I was gonna PR again. Vibes. So I PR about 1 minute this year. Matter of fact, I'm gonna play a little bit of footage after this conversation for the people on the podcast. If you don't see this, then you could actually go to the YouTube Nova Church, and you can find me and watch the full vid. But shout outs to everybody that finished the Staten Island half. Shout out to all the groups, everybody that was cheering. Shout out to Harlem Run, because y'all was lit. You had me on that curve coming down that hill, and I was like, oh, I want to walk right now, and I know I can't. Then I seen y'all like, oh, I definitely can't walk. You know what I'm saying? Powered up that hill and straight to that finish line, and I PR'd. So thank you for all the cheer zones. Thanks to the Bronx Nomads. Thanks to everybody in Miles Styles, Boogie Down Bronx Runners. Thank you to every single group that was representing. It was lit. But I'm going to end my podcast right here with Goal Set PR. Shout out to everyone that finished their race, who PR'd in Chicago and who didn't, and all that jazz. And make sure you like, share, subscribe. Make sure you repost, share this with your peoples. Thank you guys for listening to Chit Chat. We out here. We out. Come on, let's go.